You're watching Global Trade This Week with Pete Mento and Doug Draper.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Global Trade This Week. You feel me building the drama, Doug? You feel that?
I love it.
Yeah. Very excited to have my partner and co-host, the co-hostess with the mostest, Doug Draper, with me. Doug, in a radical change of events, I'm at home in Virginia, and you are in beautiful California, where I hope you're getting the best California spring weather ever. We're old. We talk about weather. Get over it, people. So I hope it's gorgeous there. Kind of early though, but I'm sure it's gorgeous there.
Yeah, not too shabby. I was flying. So some of our listeners, watchers may have been impacted by the storms on Memorial Day. So I spent 8 hours in an airport yesterday. Bad storms in Denver. Finally got out. Here we are. And the most important time of the week is with our listeners and Pete, you, and pontificating on what is going on in global trade. So it doesn't matter. I'm here, the wonderful city of Fresno, California.
I would like to mention, Doug, that when I was in New Orleans, a lot of people asked me, same thing at ICPA, you call Keenan like he's a kid. How old is Keenan really? And for the most part, when people ask me that question, I say that he's 19. And
Love it.
And I like stick to it. I'm like, yeah, his uncle is some big wig at the company he works for, and he clearly had like an Xbox addiction, and they had to get him away from his gaming console. So they said, between classes at the senior high school, because he's a couple of years behind, could you do this job for us? And like, really? I'm like, yeah, he's only 19. I mean, he does an incredible job for a guy that young, and we don't have to pay him, which is even better. I mean, he does an amazing job for somebody we don't pay. And I keep that up, and I've never told anyone the truth. So for those of you who have asked me that question live, I think is Keenan even 30? I don't think he's even 30, is he?
I have no idea.
I don't think he is. Yeah,
I've known him for probably a decade.
Everybody?
Maybe he started at 19.
That's how little we care about him. Neither Doug or I has ever asked him his actual age. When we get off, Keenan's going to give us the whole
I love it.
I was born in 1987 in a small hospital in Goat Butte, Colorado. Yeah, we're going to hear all about it when we get off of this thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. So,
all kidding aside, Keenan does an amazing job, and we absolutely love the guy, and we couldn't do it without him. So that's it. Yeah. That's my moment of sincerity. I'm done with it from here on out.
Yeah, 90% hack, 10% sincerity. So that sounds about right.
All right, man. You're up first this week, pal.
I love it. I got two topics that I'm excited about. This one, Pete, haven't brought in the post office, the great U.S. Postal Service.
Damn right.
But I'm not going to bash it. I'm going to bring it hard. I don't know if you saw that there is a new Postmaster General that's coming on board, the 76th U.S. Postmaster in the history of our country. I think early July is when things go into effect. It's David Steiner, right? Couple things about this guy. He was the CEO for waste management for 12 years, which absolutely love that, right? I don't know if a pun would be the right word, but he came from waste management, and now he needs to manage waste in the U.S. government, right? So that's awesome. He's worked his way up. And he is actually currently on the board of FedEx, Federal Express. He'll be resigning from that board as soon as he takes the position. But I love this, Pete. I know I badmouth the post office or act as a big brother telling a little brother that you're kind of doing a good job, but you need to be doing a little bit better, and you have so much potential, yada, yada, yada. But I think this is awesome, man. I'm excited. Get some new blood in there. This guy's been successful. He's got the shipping background. He's got the high level because he was on the board at FedEx. He wasn't in the weeds, which is great for vision, which is what the post office needs. And there's so much shakeup going on with UPS dwindling their engagement with Amazon, FedEx increasing their engagement with Amazon on some really crappy business, which I still do not understand. But I'm stoked, man. I think this is really going to happen, and I really hope And I think this will happen is that there's some good stuff coming down the pike. It may not be in 2025, but I don't know. Things are moving so fast in global trade and logistics nowadays that maybe he'll come out guns a-blazing and we'll see some changes for Q4. But I'm excited about it. I don't know. It was a pleasant surprise. I just kind of heard about it a couple weeks ago. I think it was announced like early May, but I don't know. So, hey, post office, I know I give you a hard time. Little brother, you can do a better job. You have so much potential. I think David Steiner's going to make it happen.
I'm waiting for you to tell me like surprise or you're punking me because you're saying something nice about my beloved postal service. And
man, let's do this thing.
Okay, well, excited for this new CEO because, as you said, he came from Waste Management, which is one hell of a company. I think as Americans, most of us take for granted that once a week or twice a week, for most of us, we put our bins on the sidewalk or at the end of the driveway, and someone comes and takes our stuff away. It's really hard work to manage that, to manage under all the regulations and all the expectations and the costs that go along with it, to manage that business. It's not easy. Yeah. So the fact that Waste Management has done such an incredible job of rising to that task and being a really profitable enterprise for its shareholders, I too am hopeful that this is going to end up resulting in a postal service that Doug can be proud of. I'm already proud, right? So will this create a waste management? Will this create a post office that Doug can be proud of? I think there's a lot standing in the way of one person making sweeping changing at the Postal Service. But hopefully, fresher breath air and some enthusiastic leadership can do something here.
Yeah, awesome. Same page there. We'll wait and see, but we're excited. All right, my brother, what you got for your first topic?
So my three friends that I have a group Teams chat with at work, Carol, Robert, and Nelson and I, we have a running joke. The boards when you go into like a warehouse or a manufacturing site and it says blank days since an industrial accident, the 300 something days or whatever. So we've got a joke now where it's like 0 days since a radical change to U.S. tariffs. Like every day we take the one off and we put another 0 on because things have gotten weird. Last week before we all ran off on our long weekend, the president went out on his social media and said, I'm going to whack Europe with a 50% tariff starting on June 1st. They're not trying. They're not putting the effort in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, what happens next, Doug? What happens? Everybody goes, wow! We all flip out. It's like the downward crash of the roller coaster. Everyone's screaming with their hands up in the air. And a few days later, he's like, you know what? We talk. We talk. That threat apparently got someone's attention. And now we're going to push it out to July 9th. The original date of the 90-day pause. We're going to hopefully get something done here in time. Well, between Friday and Sunday, everybody lost their minds. And we're going to go into the trade war. This is going to be awful. Burn the villages down. Get your pitchforks and your torches. Let's go storm the castle, right? But ultimately what happened was patience played out and won again for the umpteenth time during this trade war, calmly looking at the situation and managing it for what it was turned out to be okay. And I think ultimately that's how this is going to go. So for everyone fear-mongering a trade war with Europe, I don't know how to break it to you. Not this time. I think it's going to end up being just okay, but it's going to take a while for us to get.
Yeah, for sure. It always seems to happen over weekends, right? Weren't we in like the shortest trade war with Colombia on a Sunday? Like,
yeah, on a Sunday. Yeah.
Literally, I think it was during a football game. The kickoff, and it was over by the end of the game.
81 minutes. 81-minute trade war. Shortest in history. Yeah. And my phone just absolutely was buzzing left and right. It was nuts. So say it a million times, man. I'm going to say it again. Patience is less expensive than panic. So deep breaths when this kind of stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to touch a little bit that on my next topic. But so a lot of my second topic is in response to that. So I'm going to hold off just so we have content on both sides. But it is, it's just, anyway, I'm going to wait and hold out, Pete. So I don't have any other comment than observing what you said and agreeing.
I see. How very academic of you, Doug.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very stoic in my response, right?
Very.
I hear you.
Very stoic, very stoic.
So anyway, that brings us, man, I'm kicking into it. I'm bringing it to halftime. One of my favorite parts of the show because we can just talk about whatever the heck we want. And thanks to Keenan um, and Cap Logistics for giving us this platform week in and week out. Much appreciated. All right.
You don't know my topic, Doug?
Halftime. What do you got? This. What's that?
You didn't get to see my topic for halftime? I'm actually excited to talk about this one.
No, this is so to our audience, right? I mean, maybe 10 minutes before the show, we're like, here's what I'm talking about. Here's what Pete just forgot to send me everything. So everything that he's talking about.
Oh, no, Doug. Check your text. I absolutely sent you my topic.
No, it's not there.
You're going to make me do this, aren't you? You're going to make me have a spat with you on air. That's fine.
No. Look, anyway, I'm not going to show my phone in front of the camera. I do not have it. You forgot to hit press. No. Anyway, this is good. This is genuine banter back and forth. So, what's up with your halftime?
Like many Americans this weekend, a lot of my free time was spent in front of a pellet smoker with a friend of mine, really making some beautiful things. I can't take credit for the work that my friend Sean did, but we had brisket. We smoked some really nice chicken thighs. We made these things called pork shotgun shells. It was like andouille sausage stuffed with cheese and jalapenos wrapped in bacon. I mean, just amazing stuff. I had my first ever hardwood smoked cheeseburgers. I mean, just fabulous stuff, right? And oddly enough, no one was really thinking about the sides. Now, I spent most of my formative years in Texas and much of my life in the South, and that is absurd. I mean, the sides are such a big deal, and who's bringing what, and is Carol bringing that amazing potato salad she makes, and I really hope that Tony brings that pasta salad that he does. So, Doug, I'm going to ask for a couple of things here. When you're at a barbecue, whether your own just at home, or if you go to a barbecue, what are your must-have sides? And then what do you wish was not on the sides table? So what are your favorites? What are your least favorites? And then I will tell you mine.
So I'm a mustard potato salad, right? No eggs in it.
Yep.
Just, a little zing and some potatoes. And then baked beans on any kind. If you're going to dump them out of the can, put a little zing into it, right? Put whatever, onions, a little spice, and some heat. So those would be the two favorites. And then the absolute worst, deviled eggs. If somebody comes out with a plate, I got to move 20 feet away from that nonsense. Not a fan. So potato salad, baked beans, yay. Deviled eggs, just I would probably throw up if I was had to sit next to those things or serve them out to people.
Wow.
That's it.
I like deviled eggs. I like deviled eggs, Doug. I mean, they're not a must-have, but I do like them. I like them with with a nice piece of crispy bacon on top of it. And I don't know, it goes very well with the 28 beers I'm probably going to drink at the barbecue. But my two go-tos, 100% baked beans, buddy. I could not agree with you more. And I know it's a sloppy thing to put on a paper plate. I don't care. I really like a crock pot that someone brought that's sitting on the side table, and it's you can smell the molasses in there. Big fan of baked beans. I don't think that they're brought to the barbecue enough. I think that happens when you're at home, right? And then as far as potato salad, this is truly people in back east and people on the West Coast don't get how much potato salad can drive a meal if you're from the Midwest or the South. When I was in Minnesota, people took potato salad to a whole new level. But again, I'm going to have to go with Doug on this, on the potato salad. Don't get too cute, okay? We get it. You're creative. You watch a lot of Gordon Ramsay. We get you, all right? But things I don't ever want to see in potato salad ever again. Eggs, how dare you? That's like a war crime. That's an abomination. It's not called egg salad. It's called potato salad. The next idiot that puts raisins in a potato salad, I'm probably going to dump their face in the bowl of the potato salad. But for me, aside from beans, the one that I really love to see at a barbecue that probably isn't happening enough for me, I really love a nice like orzo or pasta salad. Like a pasta salad, a little vinegary on the bottom of it, some crunch to it too. Maybe some onions and some peppers in there. you'll note that with all of these sides, Doug, none of them are in any way healthy for you. It's not like someone just brought a batch of broccoli. This is junk covered in mayonnaise and dressings for the most part, and that's what makes it so wonderful. I'm sure there's other things that people have that they're excited about, but potato salad and pasta salad, and hell yes, man, baked beans are awesome. We need to bring them back into the American lexicon. And now things I never want to see. If I come to your barbecue,
I love it. Yeah, we're in agreement. We have similar palates.
If I come to your barbecue and your only side is a bag of off-brand rippled chips, I'm going straight to Harris Teeter and buying something else, because that's not right. It isn't right. Okay.
Yeah.
Another side that does not belong as a side is salad. Salad. Just like a bag of something that came from the grocery store, and they put some ranch on it, and they're like, here you go. Here's our side. You know what? Don't invite me next time. How about that? Don't even ask me over. That's not a side. How dare you, man?
Yeah. That's a chopped salad. Holy shit, I forgot I was supposed to bring something. Swing by the grocery store.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And just grabbed a bag. No tomatoes, no, all that extra stuff that would make it a nicer salad, and croutons and some nuts, maybe some cheese. No, it's just a bag of salad and whatever leftover ranch dressing was in the refrigerator door. Whoever does that, they should be ashamed of themselves. They really should.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Doug, what do you got for your halftime, buddy?
All right. Well, I saw this pop up on my feed this morning. This is the 100th anniversary of the Scripps National Spelling Bee. Starts today, right? Now, apparently they didn't do it during COVID, and they didn't do it during World War II. So as far as engagement, this is the 97th year, but it's been around since 1925. And most of it's kids from the U.S., and you can't be over 14. This is stuff that I found out today. You can't be over 14 or past the 8th grade, right? And then for some of their younger viewers, Scripps was a newspaper. That's how things got started, 100 years ago. So pretty excited. I think it runs for several days. I don't really know how many people start out. I would imagine it's a lot. And so I was like, okay, what are some of these hard words, right? Like, what's the hardest word that's ever been presented at the spelling bee? And there was a whole bunch of them that they came up with. I didn't really know what any of them meant. I didn't have time or interest really to get the definition. But there was one that the definition is incredibly simple. It's basically a lung disease caused by inhaling very fine ash or sand, dust, right? So ash or dust. And I'm looking at my computer because I don't know if I can pronounce this correctly, but it is pneumo ultra microscopic silico volcanicism iosis. It's a freaking word, right? If you're a 14-year-old kid that's up there and you know how to spell that, can you use the word in a sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's got, and then whatever the word is, right? I mean, I would keep it so bland. My uncle at one time went to Hawaii and got this condition, yada, yada, yada. It's crazy. So I decided to come up with let's come up with a definition for something related to us, right? And I started playing around with ChatGPT on this one, so I can't take all the credit, but I'm going to give this a shot. Opodai castropholic onomaniac. And that is really a diehard podcast listener whose passion is about shipping container trivia, customs compliance nightmares, and debates about free trade zones. So I'll put it in the
we're going to change the name of the show.
What's that?
We got to change the name of the show.
To what? That?
Yeah, I guess. We can't even pronounce it, let alone put it in the show.
Yeah. I don't know. Opidai. Now, the name of it came from ChatGPT, right? But you got to have the prompt. The prompts are what makes the end result powerful. So I'll put it in the show notes, so to speak. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So 100th anniversary of the Scripps Spelling Bee contest, and we'll see who emerges victorious at the end of this week.
I'm a terrible speller, Doug, and I always have been. I can spell hard words when I'm writing and typing, but I'll screw up there and got to look at it again to make sure it's right. It's very embarrassing. And I can remember, you probably do too, when they would ask people in school when you were little, do you want to be in the spelling bee? And I would just sink into my chair like, good God, no. If you're looking for volunteers, I'm not the guy. Two things about it. You said, so it's like use it in a sentence. What's the etymology? Like, where's it come from? What's the root of the word? Like they ask those questions. Like that wouldn't help me at all. I wouldn't have any idea. But the two things I wanted to bring up was, first of all, if you haven't seen the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, it's a musical, but it's really, really funny. I mean, it's laugh out loud funny because it goes into all of the crap that we're talking about. And second of all, for those of you who've never watched the last rounds of the spelling bee, I think they show it on ESPN now, don't they? Like, I think they show it on, it's a competition. They show it.
Yeah.
The anxiety, the tension, because I think there's some real money in this, in scholarships if you win. These kids they're under it. And I remember one kid passed out a while ago while he was trying to answer a question. So for those of you who think that it's just silly, I like to see you up there in front of a global television audience trying to spell otolaryngologist correctly or whatever the question is that they ask. A lot of respect to the kids in that spelling bee. God bless them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You mentioned it's a lot of stress. If a bunch of yahoos like us are excited or talking about it on ESPN, you got some kid up there that's on like you said, a global stage. So kudos to those guys and gals.
Like you said, they're young too, right? You're putting a 14-year-old up there. That can't be easy.
Yeah.
Some nerd's going to write into the show and talk about how they made it to the state final and blew it did they do the final the same place every time? It's probably like in Iowa or something.
No, it's actually outside of DC. It's right kind of around your corner.
Wow. Okay. No, I'm not going, but that's nice to know.
Yeah, for sure. So cool. All right. Well, that was halftime, brought to us by Cap Logistics. We appreciate them. And as Pete said multiple times, we don't work for these guys. Keenan is kind enough to let us jump on, but it's fun. They give us a platform, and we appreciate it, whether it's halftime or supporting the whole show. So
and freedom. Doug, have they ever told us not to talk about something? Have they ever sent show notes?
No, that's a very, very good point.
Yeah, they've never gotten in the way of anything. If we think it's important, they let us talk about it. So thanks to the folks at Cap.
Yeah, that's very valid. We have no censor. That's great. Well, hey, let me jump into my second topic because it was related to your first topic, right? Here's the gist: the tariff uncertainty. Do you think that is driving? And I'm going to ask you this question, but I'm going to make my comments first. So, is tariff uncertainty, which you spoke to, 24 hours later things change, a day and a half later, a weekend, a football game, is that driving global economy growth outside of the U.S. and people are done with the nonsense and other countries are starting to partner more together and say, you know what, this is a global trade. It's not a U.S. trade, albeit a very important cog in the wheel. But I'm getting the feeling that people are like, I'm done with this stuff, right? I'm moving in a different direction until things settle down in the U.S., right? It's just paralyzing decision making with American businesses. And I've seen reports that Asia to European traffic is expected to skyrocket here in Q4. And then the other thing is restricting, and you can speak to this one, Pete, restricting Chinese access to advanced semiconductors, right? And we saw that with, DeepSeek, right? Hey, if you're not going to give us the ability to have these, powerful chips from the video or whomever, we're just going to do it ourselves, right? And then we're going to sell it to other countries around the world, and we're going to do our thing over here, and we're going to continue to grow and evolve and become a stronger trading partner with the world, not specifically to America, right? So you got DeepSeek, being from California, where I am right now, agricultural products. Hey, we're just going to buy stuff from Brazil and Argentina and Canada, even Russia in some degree. So our trade policies having the opposite effect with you need to partner with us, you need to focus on us, meaning America. And countries are like, hey, man, we don't have time to deal with the flux, the wild pendulum swing, and we're just moving in a different direction. Do you think that's happening And is it good or bad?
I do think it's happening. So let's start with that. I think there are parts of the world I can point to, Doug, that we already know it's having an impact, at least on American trade. So Canada, as an example, a lot of American liquor is no longer available on shelves in Canada. In Europe, there are people who are not buying bourbon; they're not buying American products. So I do believe that it is that. I don't have any numbers that I can point to yet. I'm sure we will soon. I think that another thing, it's been reported in the media a lot, right? China is selling their goods to other countries other than the U.S. They're finding markets in Europe. They're finding markets throughout the rest of Asia, the Indian subcontinent. So that's certainly there too. The problem with this, again, from an anecdotal standpoint that I have, is saying to you this isn't a problem because right now China's biggest economy they export to is us, and we're the largest consumer of everything. And when we shut you out of the party, it's going to be hard to continue to party if you're not in our party. And right now they're not. And they're desperate to get back in. All the economic indicators that we've been able to gather so far show that the lack of exports to the US have had a real serious economic impact on China. But for other parts of the world, like Canada, I mean, for them, it's personal. It's personal, it's political, it's emotional. We showed up at the party. A friend of mine put it this way. He said, we're like the cousins that come to all the cookouts and all the parties. And then one day, our aunt marries some jerk and we go to knock on the door and he slams the door in our face and says, you can't come in anymore. And that is, I think, a pretty accurate metaphor for what's happening right now. And I think it will have some long-term impact too on the way that we all get along together. But really, Doug, I don't think it's stopping trade completely from happening. I do hope that where possible, Americans do consider purchasing things made here, made in Mexico, made in Canada, because a regional economy is in our best interest.
Yeah. Good points. Good points. I want to keep an eye out for that. Maybe it's just a knee-jerk reaction to what to the ebbs and flows of what transpires here in the United States. But I have a feeling that it's like it's the world. There's 7 billion people or whatever the number is nowadays.
Yep.
U.S. is part of that, but it's a global trade. But we are the elephant in the room, so to speak, the powerhouse. So good points. All right, bring us home, my brother. Hey, you're like off camera for me. I don't know. Are you doing that for a reason?
My camera's off, but my beautiful dulcet tones are still coming across.
Good.
So we'll be okay.
All right.
Yeah. My last topic is one I think I never would have thought it would have taken us this long to bring up, Doug, but it looks like MSC is going to be putting container ships through the Red Sea again and using the Suez Canal again next month. And where one goes, I imagine many more are going to follow. So it's been, a year and a half at this point, I'd say, since we've really seen that going on and been able to have that as a reliable passage for cargo. So some things I kind of wanted your opinions on, Doug. Do you think that the danger's over? Would you feel comfortable and confident putting your containers through that part of the world, knowing that there are still large organizations of people who really don't want to see that cargo go through it? Second of all,
well, I think it would speak. So to answer that question,
go ahead.
No, that's cool. So I think that to my point earlier, that hey, there's other entities out there that we can do trade with another country. Let's open up this trade lane, right? Literally the Red Sea, and let's see how it goes because we need to get product to other parts of the world beyond the U.S. So as far as safety, I've not been close enough to know what's transpired recently, but you haven't seen any issues that have made at least international headlines or here in the United States as far as security procedures. So, is it going to revert and go back? Let's kick some vessels through there and see what transpires. But I think more it's let's open up another trade lane so we can get product to other parts of the world quickly, efficiently, and keep our economy meaning other countries' economies, i.e. China. Mm-hmm. And let's just keep this thing moving. And we need a fast, reliable way to get to other parts of the world.
I think also it's going to lower prices globally too. If we have that way of managing it, I don't know for certain, but I would imagine that now that we're not going around the Cape, it's going to cost less too.
Yeah.
That's it for my end, Doug. So why don't you take us home, buddy?
All right. And I'm looking at the clock. We're going to hit this thing under 30 minutes, my friend. So, hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Global Trade this week. It is a unusual thing to have Pete in his home and me on the road. So it's good to have you at home, Pete. You look The beard's a little more gray, but you seem to have a little pep in your step. So I'm glad you're getting some time at home. And like I said, we appreciate Cap Logistics for facilitating, making all this happen. And if it's happening in global trade, Pete and I are going to talk about it every single week, and we can't thank you enough for listening. So share this with your friends, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Pete, have a good one, my buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. See you next week.
All right. See you.